All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is August 27th, 2025. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the attendees at our open houses this month. Rick just finished his open house yesterday. I'm looking forward to my open house on September 8th. All right, Doug finished his open house week before Rick. All right, so let's take a look at the markets. Hey, and I want to thank all of my paying subscribers here in the room. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Try to provide actionable, profitable content every single day. All right, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody out there that shares my content. Kathy Sarah Roasted, John Jordan, Bob Jordan, all of you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining me on my trading journey. All right. Thank you so much for being a part of the BYOB experience. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's take a look in the markets today. How I made, says 74. I'm already up to 77. How I made 74K with a 472K account. That equates to roughly, calculate about 15% in one day, the whole account, not just one position, like the whole account. Okay, so we left off, made 30K yesterday. Okay, so we brought the count up to 472. Of course, today we're going to add another 77 to it. That's going to be nice. All right. Again, I try to make 1% per day. This is my account that I started with 27K at the beginning of August. All right. On August 4th, 27K. And we are all the way up to 472. How do we do it? Well, we leverage our capital with options. Okay. It's hard to do this with just securities. Okay. So we leverage our capital using options. And the short-term options happen to pay the most. If you want the most, you want the best performance out of an option, most of the time, it's going to be that 0 DTE in the money option. Okay. But you got to have the direction right. If you have the direction wrong, they can be very dangerous. Okay. So just saying, make sure you got your direction right. Okay. So this is where we are right now. Okay. So again, 74 was 77 and climbing. All right. With this $472,000 account. Okay. So let's take a look. Here's our trades for the day. You can see we didn't even touch CGC. That's the Cannabis Growth Corporation. All right. You can see not a trade was taken on that all day, either one of those, but we're still climbing in unreal. Okay. Unrealistic, not unrealistic, but just we haven't taken profits. That's the bottom line. Okay. We got some Intel calls. I purchased those at the last minute today. If NVIDIA goes up, I think Intel will get some sympathy, and I see Intel probably climbing from, maybe 25 clear on up to maybe 27. All right. If NVIDIA comes through for us, we'll see. Okay. So I got a lot of products that I traded today, so I'm going to go through them fast. Let me just say, okay, let's just go to the SPY real quick, okay, because I got a lot of products to go through. Okay, my favorite trend, my favorite setup, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside of a 2-hour uptrend, inside of a daily uptrend, inside of a weekly uptrend, inside of a monthly uptrend. Okay, so here we had right here, the 10-minute uptrend right there over VWAP. Traded that. Okay. Had to pull back to VWAP, bought the bounce. Another 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Bought the bounce. And we're starting another 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay. If there's any continuation of this uptrend into the close, I will be looking for continuation into tomorrow. So how did we trade this? Based on yesterday's performance. Okay. I'm going to take the 10-minute uptrend. Okay, we had a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close yesterday. You can barely see it. Let me see if I can fan that out and drag it over, all right? So you can appreciate what we did. Okay, at a 10-minute, this is yesterday over here, 10-minute uptrend into the close. We were looking for, if you were with me this morning, a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend, all right, in this morning. So what did we have right here? I'm going to push this over. Continuation of that 10-minute uptrend that lasted until about 12:20 right there. Had a VWAP pullback, bought the dip. Notice the bulls bought the dip too. See those two tails running through VWAP? Okay, that's showing me, whenever you see tails, that's showing you buyers. Whenever you see wicks, that's showing you sellers. Okay, so bought the dip right here into the pullback, and price begins again. Another 10-minute uptrend over VWAP up to the high up here. Started to roll over, bought the dip again. All right, and here's the reward. Okay, so here's SPY making new all-time highs today. Okay, new all-time high for SPY. Let me just say this, closing the day at the end of the day, at the high of the day, that's really bullish, okay? It doesn't get any better than that, all right? Drop the mic. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, ending the day at the high of the day at the all-time high, okay? Just doesn't get any better than that. It's not, you can't get any more bullish than that. So there's our 3 10-minute uptrends that we traded in addition to the 2 bounces right there, okay? So let me just say, when it comes to the calls, all I did was verify that my 10-minute uptrend was in play, all right? Was still intact, all right? So now I'm going to run through the calls. First call, okay? All I did was verify my 10-minute uptrend's intact, okay? I try to buy the bottom of the option candles and sell the peaks of the option candle, okay? So buying the lows and selling the peaks, buying the pullbacks. That's all I did. There's the first one, made 5,200 on that, 600 on the next one. Again, buying the initial, okay? Again, continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. You can see it right there. I purchased and then started selling, and then reloaded, and then started selling, and then reloaded, and then started selling again, okay? It's the same thing. Is my 10-minute uptrend intact? Yes. Then I put out a grid of sell orders up on top and a grid of buy orders underneath to reload. That's what I do all day. This is what I call going to work. QQQ calls, made $6 on those. Again, bought the dip, selling into the rally. I could easily sell those right now for $80 gain. I only have 6 right now. I'm actually holding these for tomorrow, okay? $400 on some 590 calls, QQQ. Again, buying the dips, selling the rallies, okay? QQQ 580 strike, 2 days till expiration, 3,500. Buying the dips, 27. See the dip? Selling the rallies, buying the dip, selling the rally. Got that 10-minute uptrend. Just going to continue with the 10-minute uptrend. There's QQQ. Same deal going on QQQ. Trading those 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. All right. SPY, 2 days till expiration. 650 strike. 14K on those. Again, right here, right out of the gate. Continuation candle. Bought it. Start selling into the rally. Okay, reload, sell into the rally. Reload, sell into the rally. That's all I'm doing, okay? I fan out a net or a grid of sell orders, okay, up above, and I fan out a net of buy orders to reload underneath. So when the candles pull back, they step right into my net or right into my grid. I get reloaded, and then when price candle goes back up to the high where it left off, okay, and then I get filled on my sell orders up top. So I fan out a net of sell orders and buy orders underneath, okay? That's all I do. Nothing special. That's what I call going to work. Is my 10-minute uptrend still intact? Yes. Then I continue to work my grid, okay? That's what I do. 190 on some QQQ calls, 1 day till expiration. You can see bought the dip, sold the rally. Still got some more profit in those. Could easily take that profit right now. Do I have time? Might as well strip it out right now. I'll take some of that right now, right here at the ask. See if I can get filled. That'll be another 1,000 added on to my 78,000. That'll be nice. Okay. Price action here. 1 DTE. 655 calls. All right. Buying the dip. Selling into the rally. See the red dots? Those are the sells. The blue dots are the reloads. All right. I have my grid already up before price pulls back. So price runs into my grid and I get filled. All right. So there I made 8,300 on those. Okay. 658 calls, 1 DTE. Okay. Those are actually for tomorrow. These are like lottery tickets. I could actually take $1,000, $2,000 right there, right now. Yeah, might as well. All right. 4 cents. I'll sell 700. See if I can get filled. All right. There it is. 1,400. Okay. This is the other one I said, hey, might as well see if I can get something out of it right now. Made 1,000 under that. Up to 81K now. Okay. Just going through this with you guys. All right, what's the next one? QQQ, bought the dips, sold the rallies, don't have any. These are all 0 DTEs, okay? All zeros, bought the dips, sold the rallies. Another one, SPY, 0 DTEs, made 32K on those. Bought the dip, see the VWAP pullback, sold into the rallies. Bought the dip again. Sold into the rallies right there. I don't like hanging on to 0 DTEs after noon, really, after 1:30. Not a big fan of that. Now that you can see these are running up, all right, but I'd rather have my 1 DTE and my 2 DTEs run up, especially if we're going to close the day at the end of the day on the highs right there, okay? So there it is, okay, the whole day except for the last one. Here it is, bought the dips, sold the rallies. See the top of those option price candles? See how there's red dots? Price runs into my net or my grid of sell orders up there, and then I reload as I move my grid of buy orders up underneath it. Okay, so 49K on those today. All right, so that's it right there. That's the day. 3 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. Traded all 3. Bought the dip. 2 dips pulling back the VWAP. Bought both dips. Okay, we got NVIDIA earnings after the close. Let's take a look around the markets. Obviously, SPY is at new all-time high. Let's move this out of the way. Enough of me bragging about how we did. Hey, let me just say, it's not just me doing good. We got some guys in the room that did 9, got 9 daily goals. 8 daily goals, 6 daily goals, a lot of winners here in the room today, okay? I'm just saying, like, you could be a part of this, all right? For $7. For $7, you could be a part of this, all right? Can you imagine moving your whole account up 15%? Okay, well, okay, this is where we're going to fast track you on how to do that, is right here in this room. Just moving your account up 2% is incredible, the whole account. Now, I'm not talking about one position. I'm talking about your whole account, okay? Some people wait all year just to get 4%, all right? Sticking the money in the bank. I mean, we're doing this like in hours. We're moving the whole accounts up, all right? I'm talking about we leverage our money, all right, using options. This is how we do it, all right? And we can teach you how to do it if you're here in the room with us, but you gotta dedicate the time, and it's not gonna happen overnight. Let me just say this, not gonna happen in 30 days. Okay, it's $7 for a 30-day trial, but let me just say it's not gonna happen in 30 days if you've never traded before. Okay, all right, it may happen, but it takes time to learn the market, learn the options, learn VWAP, learn how to set your charts up. It takes time to understand market conditions. It takes time to learn market patterns, okay? It takes time, okay? But here's the good news. I'm living proof that you can do it, all right? Because I thought I'd never learn, all right? I'm the living proof that you can do it. But we got guys in here really nailing it today, okay? Just saying, like, this is a rare opportunity. And on top of that, you get free 15-minute coaching. 10-minute uptrend inside the 2-hour. Hey, Jim's writing this right now. Jim's writing 10-minute uptrend inside a 2-hour uptrend inside is a beautiful thing when they present themselves. You're absolutely right, Jim. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. All right, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at it on the daily chart, all right? And let's make sure this is the daily candle. Let's turn the pivots off, edit, and move this stuff down here, okay? All right, so make sure this is the daily candle. Get the crosshairs out. Okay, that's the daily candle, see? So you can see higher high, higher low, new all-time high up there, okay? Closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17. Markets are bullish, people. Okay, SPY, new all-time high. Drop the mic. It doesn't get any better than that. QQQ. All right. QQQ, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17. Okay, still in an uptrend. Top of quadrant 4. Okay, that's bullish and still in an uptrend. Okay, markets are still bullish. All right, there's the April low. Okay, there's the all-time high right there. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow puts in higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17, up at the top of quadrant 4, in an uptrend. Okay, Diamond Dow, bullish and in an uptrend. IWM, Russell 2000. All right, new rally high for the Russell 2000. Okay, IWM, not a new all-time high. That's the all-time high. New rally high for the Russell 2000. Right there, today. Okay, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17 EMA, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, at the top, at the middle of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend right there. Okay, markets are bullish. All right, FNGU. Look, they're bullish until they're not. All right, that's the bottom line. They're bullish until they're not. Here's FNGU. Now this, we watch this because this has 10, it only has 10 products in this ETN. It has 10 of the most heavily weighted products in the SPY and the QQQ, all right? So let me just say, when these 10 move as a pack together, they can drag those two indexes in whatever direction they're going. So if they're moving up, it's a good chance the two indexes are going to move up, okay? So here's the pack moving up again today, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross, over the 17 EMA. Now this one's in a downtrend. Let me explain why, okay? Because here's a low, and they made a lower low right here. Here's a low, they made a lower low. All right, so that means they're in a downtrend. So in order to negate the downtrend, they have to make a higher high. Well, that is the high to take out right there. Okay, and they failed to take that high out. So they're still in a downtrend. But yet, here is the good news. We're not moving down. Ever since they started, see with this candle, with a downtrend, they have not moved any lower than the bottom of this candle. Okay, they actually moved. So it's a downtrend that's not working. All right, that's bottom line is what it is. A downtrend that is not working. It's like a failed downtrend. Okay, not good enough to qualify for an uptrend. All right, but it's a failed downtrend right now. Okay, it's just moving over to the right. So if we look at the price action here, and we look at what the market's doing. Okay, you always got to read. You got to look for clues. Okay, this is up and over to the right. Okay, that's a plank. All right, all of you guys that exercise, All right, you know what it's like to hold a plank for this long, okay? It's like holding a plank all day long, okay? You guys been in the Marines, you got to hold some planks once in a while, right? When you do a little bit faux pas, okay? This is a show of strength. Anytime you can hold a plank all day long, that's a show of strength, okay? So there's price action holding the higher ground. Okay, that's very bullish. That is a show of strength up there. That's the FNGU. That is very bullish. Okay, so there's FNGU on the daily chart. This is bullish in a downtrend that's not working. Okay, so there's FNGU. All right, let's take a look at a few other pieces of information. We're going to look at the market breadth. The market breadth on this move higher, okay, is increasing. All right, meaning they're pushing more wind into the sales. Okay, market breadth. Just think of exhaling. All right, pushing more wind into the sales. Okay, that's big. That's big time big right there. Okay, that means it's increasing. We like that. Okay, when it's decreasing, that's when it gets scary. Okay, but it's increasing. All right, and the market's moving higher. So we love that. There's market breadth. All right, let's take a look at T21.22. We've spent the day camped out in the overbought zone. Okay, we could stay up here for 7 or 8 days. Just saying we could. But if we happen to hit that 99 to 100 area, I'm just saying there's a good chance you're going to roll over. Anytime you hit that 99 or 100 area, you do get a pullback. All right. Ever since I've been watching this thing, which has been a long time, every time you hit the 99 or 100, you do get a pullback, like almost in the immediate near future. Like we hit that there on the 22nd. All right. And of course, 22nd, that was Friday. And that was a lot of new all-time highs in the market on Friday. So here you see, here's the pullback right there. Okay. All right, notice we're not up there yet, but we are leaning on that area, okay? See all the higher lows, okay? I'd really like to see them cool off just a little bit and hang out up here for 8 days straight. That would be a beautiful thing. All the way up into September 3rd. That would be nice. So there's T21.22. By the way, markets are closed first Monday in September, which is September 1st, okay? So just a reminder, we're closed for Labor Day. Markets are going to be closed. Trading room's going to be closed. Overbought, okay? So we're spent the day in the overbought section. T21.23. New rally high on T21.23. See this? Okay. New rally high. Bullish gap up. Notice the bears never filled the gap. Okay. That's a bullish clue. Whenever the bears can't fill the gap before noon, that's a bullish clue. Move up over to the right and just melting up higher. So bullish right out of the gate. Look at these last 4 days. Right out of the gate, bullish. Gap up, gap and go. That's what I call it. Gap and go. All right, up, then consolidate. All right, and then up and consolidate, and then up, then consolidate. It's like a string of stairs right there. Okay, so the buyers came in from the beginning of the day and they lasted right into the end of the day. And of course, you can see that in the T21.01, which is the market breadth. See right here, market breadth. Okay, push. They're pushing wind into the sales of those securities, pushing them higher and higher and higher. Okay, so there's T21.22, you see up in the overbought zone. T21.23, definitely in an uptrend, making highs. New rally high there for T21.23. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, this is how much space is left between, the all-time high. Here's the April low. We have very little space left between the all-time high and the recovery rally high right here. Look at that. That's incredible. Look at all these bearish gaps that aren't getting filled. It's like the bears aren't even in town. Okay, that's a bullish clue. Okay, whenever you see that the bears can't fill a bullish gap, that's a clue that the bulls have more strength than the bears. So for me, I like to look for the uptrends because they're more likely to work out. Because I'm seeing bullish gaps that aren't getting filled by bears. So I'm going to look for 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. So here's price on the 3-bar chart, also in an uptrend on the 3-bar chart, up over the rising 200 SMA. Hey, look at this, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend. FNGU, okay, climbing back on top of that 200 SMA. Bullish from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Look at this. Every time we pulled back to VWAP, the bulls came in and rescued the price. See? Pulled back, rescued the price. Each time, pulled back, rescued the price. That's FNGU over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. Okay? All-time highs right up here. All right? I would expect price to come up here and challenge the peak between the two valleys. Okay, so we got a ways to go. Maybe those NVIDIA earnings or Broadcom earnings going to get us there. We'll find out soon, all right, because NVIDIA reports tonight right alongside, I think, CrowdStrike also tonight. So there's FNGU. Let's go back over here, all right, and let's look at silver and gold. There's gold. Gold still up over 300. It's been holding over 300 now for like 4 months. That's bullish. Look at gold move up and holding the higher ground up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Gold still in an uptrend. All right, up over all-time high right there. That's that pink line and consolidating right through here. This is really winding up. Okay. That's a wind up right there. When you see price holding and winding, coiling up, this is gonna spring out of there. Probably goes to 350. All right, that's just a guess, and I'm saying probably, but this is coiling up to spring out of here and go higher. Maybe 350, maybe even 400. We'll see. All right, but that is the all-time high for gold. So this is coiled up here. So this is bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at silver. Silver up here in quadrant 4, still in an uptrend because there's a high, it made a higher high. So that's an uptrend. Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Right here, not top of quadrant 4, but the middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Anytime you're in the upper third, that's bullish. All right? Upper third of the quad lines. All right? That's bullish. So it's in quadrant 4, so it's obviously bullish up there. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG price action today. Yesterday made a new all-time low. All-time low. Okay? With all of this inflation going on, UNG made an all-time low. Okay? Okay, so you know UNG. If you're going to win, I guess the only reason you would want UNG here is if you want to be a bottom picker, all right? That's all I can think, all right? Today's candle, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the falling 17. UNG is bearish, it is weak, it is in a downtrend still, all right? Let's take a look at USO. USO looking probably an inside day, yep. Lower high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Still neutral. Again, you can see USO goes up and gives it up. Goes up, see this up, and gives it up. Continues to go up. Now it's kind of showing, I got to say, a bearish head and shoulders. That would be the head. That would be the left shoulder. This would be the right shoulder. Okay, in order to negate this possible head and shoulders, price has to rise up here and decapitate the head. Okay, that's to go up and make a higher high. That's the only thing that would negate this head and shoulders pattern. Okay, right now showing the head and shoulders pattern right now. Okay, so there's USO. All right, that's it for me for today. Okay, a lot of winners in the room today. Lot of winners. A lot of happy people in the room today. Okay, I want to thank everyone for hanging out with me. I want to thank everyone for following along. Appreciate it. Send you the Teams link? Yes, absolutely. I will get that right now. This is for anybody, not just for Sharon. Oh, happy day. Yeah, baby. I love this church. I love this church. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Stu. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mitchell. Appreciate it. Thank you. If you're ever in the room, just saying, okay? That's the Teams link right there, Sharon. All right, so if you're ever in the room, this is what you get to see. All right, when you're in the room here with me in the BYOB Trading Room, okay? I trade live right in front of you, okay? You get to see the options that I'm working on, okay? You get to see the options that I'm working on. All right, like that. You get to see the P&L right here. If you can't find it here, you can find it on screen 2 over there, okay? And you get to see the time and sales, okay? So this is what you get to see it all, okay? Now I have some videos out there. They're daily videos, all right? Some of them are 4 hours long, but if you want to see how the sausage is made, you know, this is the area to watch right through there, and then this area right in here where the option is being traded. Okay, right here is time and sales with the P&L, and right in here where the option's being traded, right there. Okay, so if you want to watch 4 hours of just printing profits or losses, I do print losses. Not everything is a winner. I do have some losers. Okay, but if you want to see the process of how I do it, it's all right there. This would be the days till expiration. This would be the time in sales, the time. All right, this would be the product. Okay, so that would be right here. This would be a 1 day till expiration, 6:55 strike call right there. All right, that's it for me for today. But that's it right there. $7 for a trial. All right, everybody out there in digital land, cyberland. Let me just say, a lot of people in the room are saying you should take it. Okay, you'll at least learn something. Okay, so there you go, right there. All right, we'll look forward to it tomorrow. We open up the markets. I'll be here at 8, and let's do it again. All right, everybody, have a beautiful evening. Thank you for hanging out with me today.